Yo, what's up to all my peoples? This your man Ken Billions. How you guys doing? Happy Veterans Day to everybody that was in the military. We're gonna get into some fire ass game. Today, I'm talking to the fellas. So ladies, if you got a man in your life, son, father, uncle, this message is to them. I want to talk directly to the dudes because I feel like a lot of messages is for women, even when guys talk. A lot of times dudes don't know how to talk to each other, correct each other, and just like iron sharpen iron, man sharpens man. So that's what I'm going to be talking about, and I'm going to be reading from my favorite book of the Bible, which is the book of Ecclesiastes. And I hope what you hear, you could take it, run with it, and change your life with it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to get into this good game. Bear with me so I can do this share. Yo, when you come in the chat, say what's up, man. Holla at your boy. Hopefully all is well in your life. And yo, year almost over, yo. So don't make no New Year's resolutions. You know what I'm saying? Just complete what you were supposed to been completed. You know what I mean? Don't wait till January 1st to be like, this is your year, and say you that guy, you that girl. Already get on it right now. You know what I'm saying? If this your first time listening to me, I want to say what's up to you. If you're a returning person, what's good, I appreciate you. And this don't work without you coming through. Make sure you go to that kenbillions.com and become a member, though. The game on there is crazy. And I'm not sure if I'm even leave this video up. I might just save it for my members. So I haven't decided yet. So just in case you want to try to come back and soak this up, you might could only find it on my website, kenbillions.com. But you got to be a member, all right? Let me post this real quick. Again, so my message today is about time and chance. And it's a message for guys. And a lot of times, there is really no place for guys to get good conversation. A lot of times it's the barbershop. But in the barbershop, they talk about a lot of sports. And I'm not knocking that because that's a place where I feel real comfortable. But they talk about a lot of sports. They talk about a lot of contracts. They don't actually talk about the food that a male will need to navigate through life. And it's super hard to be a man. You're not born a man. That's something that you become. And you don't biologically become a man. You become a man through information and wisdom. It's a training. So to become a man is extra hard. People automatically assume when you're male, you're naturally logical. That's not true. You got to be taught that. And they assume that leadership is something natural to the male. That's not true neither. Leadership needs to be taught too. It's information. All right. So we're going to get into this good game right here, yo. And I'm going to be reading from the book of Ecclesiastes to make my point. So like I said, share this on your page. If you got a brother, share this with him. If you got a boyfriend, share this with him. If you got a daddy, share that with him. Because even though that's your father, that doesn't mean that he has game. And that doesn't mean his mind has been trained. Because the scriptures say man shall not live by bread alone. So it's information that makes us who we are. Information for the human being is like photosynthesis to a plant. The way the plant receives sunlight and water and it changes its nature. It converts that into energy. Information is like that too to a human being. So we need constant education. We need constant information. And I think a lot of times we make the mistake of thinking being aware is information. Like awareness is not knowledge. Awareness is just awareness. Okay, I know about it, but how is it that I'm going to apply that, right? So I want to give you something that'll soothe the soul a little bit as we start this week right here. And like I said, my name is Ken Billions. I'm so happy that you're here, and I love you, all right? So I'm going to be reading from the book of Ecclesiastes, my favorite book in the Bible. And I think people make a mistake when it comes to the Bible because of rebellion. They'll be like, this is a white man's book. First of all, no one owns knowledge. Eat the meat, spit out the bone, right? No one owns knowledge. It's your interpretation of it, right? You see people drowned every year. You don't got a problem with water. You still drink water, right? The gun can protect you or it can go commit crimes, right? It's how man uses the tools that's available to him. So because the Bible probably wasn't introduced to you the right way, and you haven't trained to understand and process dark sayings, you might want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. But I'm telling you the way I'm going to read it to you, you might want to pick this book up, because if you know what you're doing with it, you can get some gains. And that's what life is about, all right? So this is a conversation for my fellas. Man sharpens man, just like iron sharpens iron. You feel me? So look, we're going to pick up Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 9. Listen clearly to what I'm about to say to you. Live joyfully with the wife whom you love all the days of your vain life, which he has given you under the sun. All your days of vanity, for that is your portion in life, and in the labor which you perform under the sun. Listen to this. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with your might. For there is no work or device or knowledge in the grave where you are going. When I read that verse, it's so crazy because it kind of speeds you up, so you perform every day with a sense of urgency. One thing that I blame older guys when they used to talk to me, they never taught me about time, and they never taught about using my time wisely. In fact, this is how I know man to become a man is a knowledge, because it was always older bodies around me, but they didn't have nothing for me. The males that was around me, they were masters at games and play. They were masters at playing with women. They were masters at playing with their health. They were masters at not being disciplined with their fitness. They were masters at frivolous finances. And these guys was 10, 15, 20 years my senior. How can I call them men, right? To be able to say you're a man, you have to earn that through going on the hero's journey. So I was around males that never went on the hero's journey. They ain't really have nothing for me and my peers. And we picked up a lot of bad habits because there was more influence in the environment than it was in our homes. So we picked up a lot of bad influence from these males. They didn't really have nothing for us. In fact, I would argue that a lot of these men were suffering from some type of mental retardation where they were underdeveloped. So they didn't have anything for us. And one thing that I noticed with them is how they use time. Okay? I don't recall ever really seeing a male when I was young use their time wisely. Like I said, I would see one dude on the phone, you know, he going at it with one chick. Then when she answered, he on the phone with another chick. And I'm not knocking that. You can set up your life how you want to, but everything got to flow and everything has to have an order to it that works for the male. So the males that I've seen involved with in relationships with women, those relationships weren't working for him. They were putting him in a hole. They were putting him in through stressful situations. And if he was hustling in the streets, you know, not having order with the women in your life, that makes you sloppy. So now you might get knocked. Now you might get busted. It'll be like that in corporate America if you have a deadline or something. You need to be able to have your full life in order, your full life in front of you. How you use your time is very, very, very important, because the scriptures say, whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might. Why? For there's no work. What else? Or device. What else? Or knowledge or wisdom in the grave where you're going. I know they told you when you was young, when you die, you're going to see grandmama again. That's not true. Love your grandmama right now, because when she gone, she gone. I know when you were young, they put the joy of heaven in your mind, that when you pass away, you're going to see all your friends and all your loved ones again. But the scriptures say, listen, there's no work or device or knowledge or wisdom in the grave where you're going. So that means when you go in that casket, that's a wrap. All you have is now. It's never been a better time than now. And we have to undo the procrastination that we learned watching handicapped males perform. Okay? We have to travel the road least traveled, so we can see other people on that journey just like us going to the path of wisdom. Right? Yo, you could cop a car, it breaks down. You could get money. You could get a woman, she could leave you. You could get another woman, but wisdom stays with you for life, yo. You know what I'm saying? So Listen to this scripture. Again, whatever your hand finds to do, man, I'm talking to men. Whatever your hand finds to do, listen, do it with all of your might, with your whole being. Don't half-ass. See, you know, guys from a particular community, African American, the reason why many of the males from the African American community don't do things with all their might is because since they were children, people have put fear of the environment inside of them. When he was 5 or 6, they told you to fear the police. That's a job that another person has. They told you to fear the government. They told you to fear your mother, fear your father, fear God, fear the teacher. So these boys are walking around in fear, not empowered. And then when they do something that's incorrect, they're never corrected the right way. They're corrected through whippings. They're corrected through fear. They're corrected in a way that does not benefit the child. So it grows up to be a 21, 22, 23-year-old person. And then people have the nerve to say, be a grown man. Take care of your responsibilities. But taking care of your responsibilities is not natural. Understand that. Taking care of your responsibilities is learned science. The human being, the meat suit, is designed for eating, violence, using the bathroom. That's the nature of the human meat suit. Taking care of responsibilities, having a level of couth, having a level of knowledge comes through study. But how can a person automatically go from living in fear the whole life, from a whole society telling them that the world is against them? How can a person go from having the world against them to feeling empowered? That's not empowering language. That's not empowering information. When a kid of the Jewish faith, when he's 13, he goes through rites of passage. He has a bar mitzvah, right? By the time he's 25, his Rolodex consists of accountants, doctors, dentists, businessmen, professors. Okay, so if his one father can't answer a question for him, he can go to another male that can answer a question for him. If he doesn't have the answer for him, he can go over here. Who has the answer for the so-called African American male? Where does he get his answer from? Who's in a position to solve his problems? Rappers. Okay, so I think it's super disingenuous how you underdevelop the mind of these young males, and then because they got a beard, you send them out into the world and say, you know what, fend for yourself, handle your responsibilities. So that's why everything is half-assed. That's why the male won't do everything with all their might, like the scriptures say. What does the scripture say? Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might. Why? Why you need to do everything with all your might? What for? What for? Yeah, you could do it for your wifey. What's the other reason? Yeah, you could do it for your children. But what's the other reason? Because there's no knowledge or wisdom in the grave where you're going. That's the primary reason why you're going to go hard. Not just for your wife. People say a man's responsibility is to take care of, protect, and provide. That's it. So after he's done doing that, then what? No. His responsibility is to do everything before, his responsibility is to do everything with all his might, because once he dies, that's it. You've reduced the person to take care of your wife, take care of your children. That's it. No. That right there is a byproduct of a male going on the hero's journey. Now, if the hero's journey that a male takes consists of having a child, then that's his portion in life. If it consists of having a wife, that's his portion of life. But those aren't his purpose, though. That's a byproduct of purpose. Because if his purpose stops at the woman, what happens if the woman passes away? Then he is a nomad. Then he is a renegade. What happens when the child gets grown? He needs something bigger than them. So if you're a woman in any male's life and you're okay with being a man's purpose, you out of pocket. You need to step aside and let him reach for something that's bigger than you. Because if he stops at you, if you're his end all be all, then what's his portion in life? You mean to tell me his purpose is to do you? Well, that's a flaw in your game, baby. That means you require so much attention that you are okay with the males in your life, whether that's your father, your brother, your husband, to make you the primary purpose. Now, why are they going to do that? Whatever your hand finds to do, do with all your might, for there is no work or device or knowledge in the grave where you're going. Not even that woman, homie. She ain't in the grave where you going. So you can go out and break your neck and do... The prison system right now is full of males that are there for nonviolent offenses. Do you know why a lot of them are there? Because they wanted to be the man at all costs. Now, the way capitalism is set up, it runs through males, okay? So it's unfortunate when you are a male and your father and your uncles and your grandfather left you nothing. Now you have to go out into the world and make it happen at all costs. And that's going to land you in jail for a long time. All right. So a lot of those guys are in jail because they wanted to be the man. And then the people that they wanted to be the man for, he can't even call collect home to them. They don't live their life. That's so unfortunate. But he didn't have the knowledge to go out into the world and gather things and get things. And he wasn't taught to do things with all his might. Because the one thing you're going to do with all your might is not put yourself in harm's way that's not included in self-defense. So we put ourselves in harm's way for money. I have risked my freedom for something that's not even real. Why? Because I wanted to be the man. Because the women said, this is what y'all said. You ain't a man if you don't protect and provide. Okay, cool. So I'm going to sell drugs then. Right? Because that's what y'all want. Y'all want a provider. What kind of provider? Can I work at Walmart? No, that's not good enough. Okay, cool. What kind of provider? Can I work at the supermarket? Nope, you need a better job. Okay, cool. Then we're going to get these bricks then. And we're going to get our head blown off. For what? Whatever your hand finds to do, do with all your might. For there's no work or device or knowledge or wisdom in the grave where you going. Man. Shame on the older dudes for not telling us no game. Shame on the older dudes for us being around and they put a blunt in our mouth. Shame on the older dudes that had us losing our virginity to junkies. Shame on them because they didn't teach us about time. They didn't teach us the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, nor bread to the wise, nor riches to the men of understanding, nor favor to the men of skill. But time and chance happen to us all. Now, what does that mean? Because now we're going in the realm of luck, fellas. What is luck? To be lucky. What does that mean? Preparation meets opportunity. That means you were prepared and you were at the right place at the right time. But that's all about grace and favor. But how can you have grace and favor? How can you be lucky? How can you increase in life if you believe in your mind that you are nothing more than your penis? One, that the world hates you like these people teach you. Two, that your sole purpose is to go out and get stuff for a woman. Three, none of that got to do with you. And that messes up your grace and favor. If anybody eats off your plate, that's because you did the work of the hero's journey. You went out and did what? Got on the other side of your fear. When you watch movies and you see the hero, he has to go through a set of tasks. Okay? He has to fight this dragon. He has to go into the space of uncertainty. Why? To get on the other side of his fear. Okay? And if you are a person blocking a guy from getting on the other side of his fear, you are nothing more than a devil in that man's life. You are nothing more than the distraction in that man's life. Because it says, man, know thyself. It doesn't say know thy child. It doesn't say know thy woman. It doesn't say know thy community. It doesn't say know thy job. All that is secondary after man knows thyself first. Self-preservation is the first law of nature. Self-preservation. Never forget that. Okay? The race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, nor bread to the wise, nor riches to the men of understanding, nor favor to men of skill. But time and chance happens to them all. Every single person. Time and chance is happening to everybody. Somewhere a rich person is getting into a car accident. Somewhere a poor person is finding $100. Life is happening to everybody. But for you to, for great things to happen in your life and to remain lucky, then you have to have grace and favor in your life. And to order, first of all, it's hard to be a dude, yo. It's hard to be a dude. Yo, I don't let nobody tell me about no patriarchy. You crazy? I was born poor. Not gonna let somebody, you're privileged. Privileged what? Somebody robbing my crib, putting guns to my face? My felony is not a privilege. My inmate number is not a privilege. I'm not finna let nobody run up on me and tell me my human existence. I've been through bullshit. You feel me? Scars that ain't no band-aids for. And someone's going to tell me I'm privileged? No. The only way I have privilege in my life is when I'm operating with grace and favor, to where when I come outside, everything is increased. People want to give me things. People want to seed into things. Are you crazy? Don't let people rob you of your narrative and rob you of your story and want to put pop culture terms on you. Is you crazy? Hell nah. You are the author of your story. It's whatever you say it is. If you say you privileged, that's what it is. If you ain't, you ain't. That's one thing about getting on the other side of fear. When you get on the other side of fear, you're not worried about being Mr. Agreeable. Okay? And that's where the space we're in with a lot of males. A lot of males don't have the answers, so they think the answer is being Mr. Agreeable. Mr. You want to laugh at all the things that ain't funny. You know what I'm saying? You want to cape for people. You don't want to do self-care. That's what happens in a space where you grow up with no advocacy, because you didn't have fathers or uncles or even solid grandmamas that built your self-esteem up. So now you big as hell, and the only way for you to get by and to not threaten people is to be Mr. Agreeable. Well, let me tell you something, Mr. Agreeable. Mr. Agreeable is living in fear. Because when you are in the hero's journey, you're going to make people feel a certain type of way. Because you ain't taking no shorts and you ain't taking no losses. And you mashing for your ration and you putting on for yourself. Because one thing for sure, two things for certain. Whatever your hand finds to do, do with your might. For there is no work or device or knowledge or wisdom in the grave where you are going. That's a fact. You know, so like I said, for me, this verses that I just read have a lot to do with time. And I just seen guys play, yo. Play with women, play with their finances, play with their health. And I learned a lot of bad habits from the game. And I learned a lot of things that I couldn't convert. The conversion was slim to none. For example, when you're coming from certain type of backgrounds, you don't know business, you know hustling, right? Business and hustling is way different. Business, you wake up at a certain time. The bad thing about hustling, when money comes fast, you create bad habits. So you sleep until 12 or 1. Business people are up at 5, 4 in the morning, right? They're in bed at a certain time, right? You're not on the night shift like that. Business people have a budget and an operating cost. When you hustling and you getting money like that, you got money falling out your pockets, you rolling around with a load of cash, you're not keeping inventory. And then when you try to legitimize yourself fully, you can't, because you bringing these bad habits into the marketplace. What does that come from? Being around males that what? Play with their time, play with their finances, play with their women. That's what happens. Play with their life, and these little boys are watching. When you see a little boy, just remember that was you. right? And then people have the nerve to say, when you're 35 and you know what the bad thing is? It's mad people out here walking around that don't know about a mortgage or how to refinance. And they're going to continue to not know because they're afraid to say they don't know. Because you're looking at a person with a full beard and he's 6'5" and you're expecting him to know. If you're a woman listening to me, understand this. A male is not born a leader. A male is not born a provider or a protector. Leadership is a skill that must be learned. Providing and protecting are skills that must be learned. Who gonna teach you? Who gonna teach you? So keep that in mind. You know, this is not innate. Because if leadership and protecting and providing was innate, don't you think naturally a male would have a conflict with anybody that's threatening his environment, police or otherwise? No. If you can scare it out of a person, it's not natural. Even a lion every now and then snap back into reality and become a lion and bite someone's head off. Why? That's natural. It didn't have to be taught. All right? So, remember when you see a male child that was you. And when you shooting hoops with your son, tell that little boy to come shoot with y'all. Because he ain't gonna know stuff. You know what I'm saying? The simplest things. People, how to fill out a checkbook. People don't know. And they remain on not knowing because nobody wants to say something. Why? Because we live in the shade culture. And we live in the T-shirt culture where you're not allowed to show any vulnerability. The only vulnerability a male is allowed to show is sucker vulnerability. Go ahead, brother, cry. Man, for what? Nah. The vulnerability is information. Hey, I don't know how to do this. Can you show me? Y'all want to see the male with upside down vulnerability. Why you want somebody to cry? We're in a safe space. Man, it ain't about all that. It's about increase. It's about brothers getting their money. It's about brothers getting some assets. It ain't about crying. It ain't about hugs. What kind of y'all want gay friends. No diss to gays. You know what I'm saying? But that's what y'all want. Y'all want that. You know what I'm saying? You don't want a dude on his hero's journey. You want him to cry. For what? He needs some money. Can you help him get some paper or not? He need a crib. Can you help him get a crib or not? He needs some assets. Can you help him get it or not? Education, legacy. Can you help him get it or not? He don't need a hug. It's too late for that. He need mentorships. So you want the dude to do backwards thing. Boy, oh boy, I could go on. Man, listen. So I just said something that leads me to my other thing. Because on the flip side of the game is about having things. And this is a lot of times fellas don't understand that. Let me read this scripture to you and listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. This wisdom I have seen under the sun, and it seemed great to me. There was a little city with a few men in it, and a great king came against it, besieged it, and built great snares around it. Now there was found in it a poor wise man, and he by his wisdom delivered the city. Yet no one remembered that same poor man. Then I said, wisdom is better than strength. Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised. What did I just say to you, fellas? That no matter how great you are, no matter how great a father you are or friend you are, after you are doing your hero's journey, you have to get some money. Period. Did you hear what the scripture said? Let me run it back to you about what happens when a poor wise man delivers the city. Listen and listen clear. The wisdom I have seen under the sun, and it seemed great to me. There was a little city with few men in it, and a great king came against it, besieged it, and built snares around it. Now there was found in it a poor wise man, and he by his wisdom delivered the city. Great thing, right? No. Yet, no one remembered that same poor man. Then I said, wisdom is better than strength. Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised. You pick up my notes for that. The poor man's wisdom is despised. That's what's wrong with the conscious community. The poor man's wisdom is despised. That's what's wrong with gruntled men. The poor man's wisdom is despised. You might be a great guy. That doesn't show up on paper. It's about checks and balances. You're an amazing father. That's great. But the poor man's wisdom is despised. You might have sex amazing, but guess what? The poor man's wisdom is despised. You might be an incredible talent with incredible potential, but guess what? The scriptures say the poor man's wisdom is despised. If you don't get no money behind your wisdom, you will die despised and no one's going to remember your name. No matter how great you are, no matter how valiant your efforts were to deliver that city from a tyrant king. If you are poor, no one will remember your name. Now, let me tell you something about the illest war tactic man can do on another man. The illest war tactic man can do on another man is to reduce that man to a male. You understand? To reduce that man into a male. Now, how do you reduce a man into a male? How is that possible? To take that man out of his mind and put that man in his body. Man is mind, male is body. So, when you are going to war, for me to bind the strong man up, in order for me to bind the strong man, bind the house up, I need to bind the strong man up. Now, how do I trap the strong man? I outsmart him because his body is strong. So when you reduce the mind, the male from his man from his mind, you turn him into a male. A male doesn't want responsibility. A man wants power. The mind of man builds and destroys. The body of male is designed to be controlled. Now think about this. The most powerful men in the world are not buff. The most powerful men in the world have small physiques. The most powerful men in the world are very small guys, but they have very big brains. And those very small guys control very big guys. How is it that a very small guy can control a very big guy? How is that possible? Because one of those is mind and one of those is body. Now watch where I go with this now. A poor man has no worth, but a man is focused on things and stuff. What is things and stuff? Land, water, gold, guns, weapons, property, institution, industry. But the male does not want anything to do with that. Now, in this country, there's powerless males. What's making them powerless? Because they're all body. Now, I was taught looking like this, that my value was in my penis, not in my mind. So if I kick it with a chick, we have sex, her friend is going to ask, how big am I? She's not going to ask, how smart am I? Because guys that look like this, I've even heard Caucasian women say why they like black males. Oh, he has swag, that's sexual. He has style, oh, that's sexual. Everything is sexual. Never do they say, I like black men for their intellect, which is fine, right? Which is fine. Learn to monetize all your skills. But the point being is men will always dominate male. Okay? And if a man thinks it's okay to be poor and not try to acquire riches, he's not a man, he is a male. That is the nature of man when you come into the mentality of man. It's a mentality. Your mind frame is warfare. Your mind frame is government. Your mind frame is economics. Your mind frame is competition with the other minds in the world. Don't focus on the body. When you see a person in a position of power, that is not their body that's driving that power. It's their mind to create a system. How does that occur? It has to come from the mind. Okay? What does the scripture say? That a poor man's wisdom is despised. He delivered the city. Why don't people love him? He's poor. And if you're a woman and you got men in your life and you are saying that that is okay, you need to get out of his way so he could do the hero's journey. Now, everybody's not going to be a millionaire and a billionaire. But 150,000? 200,000? 300,000? Now, can a person fall on hard times? Sure. But if your career is a career of lack and the only thing you know how to do is screw, then you should be a porn star so you can get some coins so you don't be a poor man. Now, what you call so-called white supremacy, the system, this, that, only thing that I hear is male versus man. Because man versus man, I play chess. And there's some games where someone is beating me. They could be better, or I could be making some huge mistakes. But it's for me to figure out how to win this game. Even if I lose, I have to play this game out in a manner where when we play the next game, I ended the game so well, even though I lost. Coming into this next game, I'm going to have the upper hand. So when I'm losing, I'm going to try to figure out what kind of player this is. Is he aggressive? Is he a defensive player? Is he using the king's gambit? What does he do well? Does he fork well? Things like that. So it's mind versus mind in all things. It's not about games and play. If you're known in your area or you're as a race or as a people, if you're known for dancing in this environment, if that's your number one card that you're playing, a dancer, you're funny, you're not equipped to go mind versus mind. Okay? Let me read the scripture again so you understand. To get riches and to get things and to have a legacy, you have to tap into mind, because that's what it's about and that's where the battle is fought. Mind versus mind. Males fight body on body. Okay? And that's why the owners do the business, why the males fight. All right? The wisdom I have seen, listen and listen clear. Listen and listen clear, yo. Because I don't even know what the argument is about. Until the market all the way collapses. This is a money game. This is a things and stuff game. You can try to divine love all you want. That's not going to pay no mortgage. It's not going to pay your kid to college. It's not going to pay no rent. It's not going to give you no stuff. It's about things and stuff. The wisdom I have seen under the sun. And it seemed great to me. There was a little city with a few men in it, and a great king came against it, besieged it, and built great snares around it. Then what happened? What happened? Now there was found in the city a poor wise man, and he by his wisdom delivered the city. What happened next? Yet no one remembered that same poor man. I'm reading the Bible, by the way. The Bible that y'all said was, I'm reading the Bible. So no one remembered that same poor man. Then I said, wisdom is better than strength. Hold on. Wisdom is better than strength. Where does wisdom come from? Your mind. Strength comes from the body. Yeah, you could be mentally strong, but that's wrapped up in wisdom. So a wise man can control a strong male any day. Hence, how do you have a plantation? How do you have 300 people being controlled by one person? Mind. That's all mind. Now, this is not about females, but I'm going to put a tidbit in there too. There's a difference between female and woman. Female is the body, the period, the breast, the vagina, childbearing. But female can go to mind as well. When she becomes woman, that's a mental thing. There is a big separation between female and woman. That means this being is going to use the mind while the female is using the body. So this ideal, so for a female to become woman, what does she has to master? Her emotions. For a male to become man, what does he have to master? Two things: his libido and fear. The moment the male gets on the other side of fear, he is now a man, because he's dealing with logic, reason, rhetoric. He knows how to control his biological urge, which is sex. He can control that. He can fast. Okay? It said wisdom is better than strength. So why are you not reading? Everybody's in the gym. Few people in the library. Wisdom is better than strength. The owners of the planet, the ancient archons, whatever you want to call them, what are they dealing with? How do a few people in the world control the politics of the whole planet? What are they using? Mind. Knowledge. How do you explain that? So it's important for the males that want to be men. I don't give a damn if you got a job that don't make you a man. An ant got a job. A bee got a job. A beaver got a job. It's great if you got a job. Perfect. That doesn't mean you went on the hero's journey. See, you can lose your job. It's not yours. But when you go on the hero's journey, no one can take that from you. When you become man, nobody can take that. That's with you wherever you go. Whether you get locked up, whether you got money, whether you don't, because what you earned, you did in the shadow. You become man when no one is looking. When the camera's off. That's when you become man. When you're contemplating and thinking about higher level thinking, that's when you become man. When you put down your body and pick up your mind, that's when you become man. And you're not Mr. Agreeable when you become man. Ain't no female gonna push you to do nothing stupid to risk your freedom. Ain't no female gonna ever have you in the comment section, You just pass it on by. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no Democrats could wind you up and put a battery in your back. When you become man, you assess things for yourself. You don't use words like intersectionality. You don't use words like toxic masculinity. A man is not about pop culture. A man is about the shadow, because the keys to man, where you got it from, is from the unseen. You ain't pop culture. You ain't being Mr. Agreeable. Nah, it don't work like that. That means you're willing to turn your back on the whole world for your man. It's something that you went out and seeked. And it could have cost you your life. Could have cost you your freedom. It could have cost you everything that you touch, your whole family. And you went out and got something that cannot be taken from you. They take degrees from you. They could take car from you, crib from you. When you become a man, you cannot ever put it back down. Now, when you become man, that doesn't mean you're good or bad. It means you assess a situation. And what you do will be subjective. To be a good man means you don't have any power. And if you have power, that means you can't be good. It's situational. Because it's going to be good for some, bad for others. to be a government, a ruler of a nation. It's not going to benefit everybody. You're going to make decisions people don't understand. When you're the so-called, it's called the head of the household. Head of the household. That means wisdom, not body. That means your information is the best information in the house. You can't be the head of the household because of balls, because the female there might have more information than you. That doesn't make you the head of her because of gender. What will make you the head of somebody is because you are the tallest tree in the forest. It's because you have the most wisdom and you have the best plan. But even having the best plan and having the most wisdom, even men follow sometimes. Because when you step into man, you will always submit to knowledge. So whoever has the best information, you will submit. See, when you're a male, you never submit to anything, even when someone has better information than you. Why? Because a male represents the animal part of us. Let me read this again. Wisdom is better than strength. Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised. That's so crazy when you hear that. The poor man's wisdom is despised. So the days of the righteous, poor righteous teacher, man, that's over. So if you are a person, a male on the internet, and you can hear my voice, and you think that posting articles about the Fed, or posting Alex Jones, or Farrakhan, or Khalid Muhammad, or these awareness things, and that's white man's money, you're a boy. No one likes a poor man. And any chick running behind you, she's a peon to a woman. And you understand? Wisdom is better than strength. Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised. So that means poor female, poor woman's wisdom is despised too. So, sit baby girl. If you doing hella chakras and crystals and all that, but you ain't got no money, you despised. You crazy? How you think this game work? But I understand. People played with us when they was young and we wasn't taught right. So now we just renegading, winging it, thinking we got self-love and self-worth, but we ain't got no choosing fee though. What's your choosing fee, brother? What's your choosing fee, sis? Are you a male or a man? Are you a female or you a woman? Because if you a man, you got a choosing fee because you done put in work to become man. If you a woman, then you got a choosing fee because you done put in work to acquire that level of knowledge. What does that mean when I say choosing fee? Some type of initiation has to occur before someone can get next to you. Basically, in the pimp game or in the game, break yourself, yo. Not with likes, with a purse. Oh, you like me? Or you like this? Well, I'm a man, I'm a woman. Break yourself. Ain't no free lunch over here. It costs to get next. Just like it costs to get next to Warren Buffett. It costs to come over here. Is you crazy? Because you put the work in. You earned that. Male and female will let anybody get next to them. Pay me or pay me no mind. KenBillions.com. Make sure you check that out. But in all seriousness, the information that is running around is too female driven. Guys are talking to girls. Everything is catered to females. The reality shows everything. Why? Because it's hard for man to sharpen man. It's hard. So everyone goes to the path of least resistance. And it's for the females in the crew to make people step their game up. Stop letting people talk down to you. Stop always wanting to be entertained by easy information. Make people come at you from here up. I heard Farrakhan say this one time, and I believe it. He said that the African American does not know the science of mating because the African American is trained to mate from the waist down, while everybody else mates from the neck up. Never forgot that. Never forgot that. The science in the lecture was the science of mating, the science of business, and the science of warfare. He bodied that. Period. You know what I'm saying? So So if you got a son, if you got a brother, you know, if you got a daddy or a mate, that male's first thing in life is not to you. It's to himself, to do the hero's journey. Why did he come to the planet for? Homie, you might got a wife. You might have created this life. And I'm telling you, to move forward so your life doesn't overwhelm you, you're going to have to go on a hero's journey. Now, everybody's hero's journey looks different. So I can't tell you, oh, yours is going to be this or the next man is going to be that. But what I do know about the hero's journey is it is the path least traveled. It's not where the crew is at. It's not where the community is at. It ain't no we thing. It's an I thing. It's a me thing. And then after you get what you came for, you're able to seed and water all the things in your environment. You know what I'm saying? That's super important. All right. So you want to go on the hero's journey, especially now as AI is more developed. Right? As AI is more developed, you're going to lose the ability to even make a phone call to your spirit man to wake him up, because you're going to be so automated. You're going to be a cyborg out in these streets. All right. So look, you do the work. Don't throw the Bible down. I'm not Christian. I'm just a student. So that means I'm able to pick any sword up and use it. And what applies to me, I roll with it. Check this out. You can't get mad at the story of Jesus or Moses if you sit up and watch Power. There's lessons in it. Just like it's lessons in this. You feel me? So just like I can take a portion of this and create a narrative that can fix your life. You can find that in the Quran. You can find that in the Bible. You can find that in anything. All I'm saying is use everything as a sword to scale your life so you can be at that 90-degree angle and you always be on your square. Always. You feel me? So you see that Cash App? Go ahead and put a little sock it to my pocket. And also make sure you go to kenbillions.com and become a member. Mad content. I'm going to upload some videos today. It's great. Yo, I hope the information you heard, it hit right. I hope you got a firm understanding about where you're going and your purpose and your meaning. Don't put a person over your purpose. Purpose before people. Purpose before personality. All right? My name is Ken Billions. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.